a word from the Lord that I want to share with you. I'm trying to finish up the series of Covered. And I had every intention to finish the series Covered today. But it looks as if we're going to try to get through to verse 8 today, and then we'll finish the rest of the psalm on next Sunday. Is that all right? Is the word bless in your life? I guess it's blessing about 9 of y'all. I ain't heard but about maybe 9 of you say that. I'm going to say that again. Is it really blessing your life? Now I got about 20 of y'all. I know it's got to be at least 50 more in here. I said, is the word blessing your life? Amen. Amen. Say something so I can teach and preach in here. Y'all talking like that, I'm just going to go on and pray and go home. Thank you, Lord. Amen. So let's deal with Psalm 91. Psalm 91. I'm just going to read through it, and I want to focus on several verses. I really want to focus on verse 3 today. I really want to focus on verse 3 today. All right, if you're ready to read the word, say ready. The word of the Lord says, he who dwells in the secret place of the Most High shall abide under the shadow of the Almighty. I will say of the Lord, he is my refuge and my fortress. He is my hope and my surrounding. He is my refuge and my fortress, my God. In him I will trust. Everybody say trust. Surely he shall deliver you from the snare of the fowler and from the peerless pestilence. I want to deal with verse 3, and with the King James Version, it says the noisome pestilence. Did y'all hear what I said? All right. So it says, surely he shall deliver you from the snare. Somebody say snare. From the snare of the fowler. Somebody say fowler. And from the noisome pestilence. Noisome pestilence. He shall deliver you from the snare of the fowler and from the noisome pestilence. Now, last week we talked about the word trust, and we dealt with a few things on that, because it's important for us to understand when we say that we're going to trust God, that we have to understand what that really means. Sometimes, this is just for all the people that can be honest today, it's easy to say it, but it's not always easy to do it. Y'all, I'm preaching better than y'all responding. That sometimes it's easier for us to say, but it's not always as easy for us to do. How many of you can admit that it's easier sometimes for me to give a word of encouragement to somebody else, but it's hard for me to encourage myself? Yeah. Sometimes it's easier for me to pray for something that you want instead of praying for myself. And so this is what we understand. It says that when we trust him, then that means that that word trust means several things. One of the things that it means is that we allow someone to have, to use, or to look after. So God can have me, he can use me, and he can look after me only if I allow him. God is not going to do more than what we allow. He's not going to bless us more than what we allow him. He's not going to direct us any more than what we allow him. And what we have to get into a place where we can trust God and let him direct us in every area of our life. Sometimes we only trust God in the areas that we're lacking. God, y'all quiet this morning, is it? I said sometimes it's easy for us to only trust God in the areas that we're lacking. As long as we got money, we ain't asking and believing God for money because we think we got it. As long as we got food on the table and in the refrigerator, we don't even pray and ask God to do that for us because we feel like we got it. Y'all ain't talking. As long as everything is going well on the job, we don't even pray about it. We good. As long as everything is going well in our marriage, we don't even think about Jesus then. But the moment they start tripping, that's when we want to fall on our face and pray. Y'all quiet this morning. But I'm preaching like I know it's real. Y'all ain't saying. At the end of the day, we've got to get to a place in our life where we trust God for everything. Not just some things, but everything. Even the stuff that we have. We still have to trust God for it because God is God and God can take it if he wants to. And so we've got to get to a place where we say, God, I trust you in every area. I know you told me to do this, but I'm going to trust you all the way. I know that you want us to have this. I'm going to trust you all the way. I know I prayed for this job and you gave it to me, but I ain't going to stop praying now because now that you've given it to me, I understand that there's a difference in obtaining versus maintaining. And God, now that you have allowed me to obtain, I don't need to just get it. I need to be able to keep it. God, who am I preaching to already? Because some of us, God blessed us with some stuff. He's blessed us with our desire, and he's given us what we've asked him for. But when he gave us our desire, we didn't have the discipline to be able to keep it. Oh, my God. See, desire is common, but discipline is rare. Because everybody has desire. Everybody wants something. But the question is, if you have the desire, do you have the discipline to be able to keep what God gives you? See, a lot of us will mess up what favor gave us because we don't have the discipline and the character to be able to maintain it. This is what it says. If you're going to trust him, then that means I've got to allow him. That means I've got to give him permission. We come in, everybody, we say, everybody lift your hands in worship. Come on, don't stop the worship. We're gonna worship. 15 of us got our hands lifted. And then some say, well, I ain't used to doing all of that. I'm going to do it when the Spirit hit me. You would know the Spirit if it came and sat in your lap. Stop fronting like you waiting on the Spirit. You ain't waiting on the Spirit. Spirit ain't even going. The Spirit just bypassed you. It don't even want to touch you because you've got to be able to open yourself and make yourself available. God, I know I'm preaching good in here. Can I get any help in this Catholic church? I said, at the end of the day, you've got to be able to lift your hands and say, God, I open myself to you. So what? You ain't used to it. Look at somebody and say, try something new. If you ain't never done it, just watch me. When I lift my hands, you lift your hands. When I move my feet, you move your feet. Y'all ain't talking to me. We can get out and do line dances. We can do the cha-cha slide. We can do everything else, y'all. We can do the biker shuffle. We can do everything we want. The Cupid shuffle, you name it. We can get out there and kick, and we can move, and we can do everything if we watch somebody else do it. Y'all ain't saying. But why when we get to church, we want to act brand new? Y'all ain't talking to me. I know I'm preaching. We want to act like we can't lift our hands. We want to act like we too good, we too saved, and too sanctified. But Friday you were cutting up, but now you so reserved. The devil is a lie. I'm going to be the loudest, ignorant, most acting one on my row, and I'm going to have my row jumping and standing and shouting and laying and throwing chairs because at the end of the day, I'm not going to give the world more than I give God. I ain't never done it before. You ain't never done all this other stuff, but you tried it. I'm waiting for the Spirit to hit me. You ain't waiting. You don't even want the Spirit. You sitting there praying that the Spirit don't hit you. That's what you praying because you think they look silly. But they might look silly, but they got their breakthrough. God, have I got 5 people in here that can lift your hands and say, I don't care what I look like as long as I get what I came for? God, have I got 50 people in here that can say, Pastor, you preaching to me right now. I don't care if I look crazy, call me ignorant, call me stupid, call me dumb, but I got a praise on the inside of me, and I don't care who it'll fit. As a matter of fact, your praise is not authentic until it gets on somebody's nerve. You got to be able to get on people's nerves on your road, to let them know that God is here. And if you miss them, then it's your fault. This is the thing. If we trust God, then we have to believe in these things. This is a quick review, and then we're going to get right into verse 3. We have to believe in his reliability, his truth, his ability, and his strength. His reliability, his truth, his ability, and his strength. His reliability means that he yields the same results on repeated trials. When you look at reliability, it says to yield the same results on repeated trials. That means that when I went through last year, he was faithful. When I went through last month, he was faithful. And since I'm going through right now, this is for everybody that's going through something. If this ain't for you, this is for the person behind you. But because he's proven himself to be faithful then, he'll be faithful right now. Yeah. See, sometimes we'll focus more on our own fear instead of on God's faithfulness. Because people will walk out on you. Or people will talk about you. This ain't for none of y'all. Ain't never had no friends like that. Y'all ain't never had no family like that. But I preach to myself. People will do you wrong. But at the end of the day, God remains faithful. We have to be able to believe in his reliability. This is the next thing, his truth. His word shapes my focus, and my focus shapes my future. I said his word shapes my focus, and my focus shapes my future. The devil can't take your future because he didn't give it to you. But in order to keep you from reaching your destiny, instead of taking your future, he'll try to take your focus. See, his thing is to try to get you focused on everything and everybody else instead of focus on God. Because he knows that if you focus on God, you don't have to go searching for stuff. God has the authority to send the stuff to come searching for you. God, I don't know who this is for, but there's about 25 of you. Can I release a word in your life that because you've been focusing on him, even when it wasn't popular, y'all ain't talking to me, but you found out that it was productive because you've been seeking him. God told me to tell you that at this very moment in your life, he's going to send a shift, and that he's going to cause the very thing that you've been praying and searching for to do a divine reversal to come searching for you. Now look at your neighbor and say, leave and go look for it. Because by the time you get home, no, you need to prophesy to your neighbors about the time you get home, everything that you've been searching for. I don't know when, I don't know where, I don't know how, but that's just how good and how powerful he is. I just believe that God is about to blow your mind. Y'all ain't prophesying to nobody. I said lay hands, touch your neighbor, and speak a word over their life and tell them that no need to search any longer, because if you just keep searching for God, God is about to send everything to come looking for you. The thing is, it says he tries to take your focus because he can't take your future. This is the next thing. We've got to trust in God's ability. My inability is God's opportunity to exercise his ability. So whenever I find myself in need, then that's a perfect opportunity for God to show up and prove that he's God. God can't prove he's a healer if you ain't never been sick. God can't prove that he's a heart mender if your heart has never been broken. He can't prove that he's a way maker if you've never been without a way. And so sometimes God will allow things to happen in your life so that he can prove that he's God. The last thing is this, and that you have to trust in his strength. This is what the Lord gave me. When I remember that he is my strength, I never think more of myself than I do my Savior. You can't ever get to a place where you think you got it. I know that just messed somebody up. I know you cute and everything. You got your hair did. But you can't ever get to a place where you think you don't need Jesus. See, the thing that bothers me and puzzles me most is when we're broken, we're in the face of God and we're seeking. Watch this. When we're broken, we'll give even if we ain't got it. See, I've got this philosophy that if it don't meet my need, then it must be my seed. If I got $20, my light bill is $100, and I know that $20 ain't going to put a dent in that light bill, that's an indication I just need to sow and trust God. Y'all ain't saying. Because if it don't meet my need, then it must be my seed. And the thing is that we'll learn to pray. We'll get into the face of God when we're broken, and then when God puts us back together, we forget that we need him just as much as we did when we were broken. Now we waiting for the Spirit to hit us. When we were broken, we didn't care if everybody. We had everybody bringing us tissue, ushers and greeters. Everybody was bringing us stuff because we needed Jesus to see us. We were like Bartimaeus. I don't know where you at, but I'm gonna make enough noise until you find me. Y'all ain't saying nothing. I'm gonna scream and holler. I don't care if they say, "Son of David, hush, be quiet." I'm gonna be loud. Jesus, where are you? We're gonna let everybody know I need a miracle. I don't care what you think about me, but I got issues and I need God to do it. But then when God does it, why do we back away from him? We can never think more of ourselves than we do our Savior. And this is the thing. Let's get into this part because verse 3 tells us a whole lot. In verse 1, it tells me how to get covered. It tells me to dwell and to abide. All the note takers, I want you to make sure you take that. That's important. That's a kingdom key. How do I get covered? I dwell and I abide. Verse 2, it tells me why I'm covered. It tells me why I'm covered. because I've made him my refuge. I've made him my fortress. I've made him that. When we look at it, it's an accurate interpretation in the Hebrew. When we look at verse 2, it would say that I would say of the Lord that he is my hope and he is my surrounding. I've put all of that I have, I've put my hope in him. Watch this. Everything that I've ever needed and everything that I long for or will be in need for, he's my hope. And then he surrounds me. God is the only one that can be the secret place and the outer place at the same time. So it says, because of this, I will say of the Lord that he is my hope and he is my surrounding, my God, in him I will trust. So it tells me in verse 1 how to get covered. It tells me in verse 2 why I'm covered. But verse 3 begins telling me what he covers me from. Because that's really important for us to understand, because if I'm going to make him my dwelling place, if I'm going to make him my secret place, I'm going to abide there, then I need to be able to understand the benefits of it. And so verse 1 and 2 tells me if you do 1 and 2, then I'm going to give you 3 through 16. You see how God works? He puts the responsibility on him in verses 3 through 16. And all we have to do is live by verses 1 and 2. Well, let's look at verse 3. If you're ready, say ready. Ready. Surely he shall deliver thee from the snare of the fowler. Surely he shall deliver thee from the snare of the fowler. Now, when you look at the word snare, I'm going to give you a couple notes. If you're ready, say ready. In the Hebrew, the word snare means trap. Snare is a trap. It's designed to get you caught up. Then, if he delivers me from the snare of the fowler, all of these years when I looked at fowler, I just assumed that it was the enemy, right? Because we know that the demonic is real and that the demonic is always at fight with the heavenly, what God is saying. Y'all agree with that, right? I just assumed that it was the enemy. But it's not just the enemy. It describes the type of enemy. Because when you look at snare, that means trap. It means designed to get you caught up. So that means that surely he shall deliver you from the trap of the fowler. Then my next question was, well, who is the fowler? And the fowler is a professional bird catcher. God, y'all mighty quiet on that. Oh, I'm going to give you, I came today. It is a professional bird catcher. Ain't no amateur. It's a professional bird catcher. No, Pastor, what's the point of this? We have to understand, and I did the research, and I want to share this with you, the purpose of why he protects us from the trap of the bird catcher. Because what he's doing is he's using this as an example to show us how mighty and how strong God is. Because birds were captured with nets that the fowler and the professional bird catcher will put on the ground. And what would happen is that there was a method where the fowler would take young birds from a nest and they would raise them by hand. Are y'all following me? And when they had become very tame and controllable, the method was that they would confine the tame bird in a hidden cage and cover it so that the free bird wouldn't be able to understand or see that it was hidden and it was inside of a snare. Are y'all following me? And then it would allow the hidden bird to make a call to the free bird. So that the free, God, I know I'm teaching in here. So that the free bird would then make its way to the voice and the cry of the hidden bird. And when the free bird got close enough to the hidden bird, then the fowler would pull the snare. See, y'all wonder why some of your friends keep calling you, and every time you go to them, you get caught up in stuff. Oh, I'm going to help somebody in here today. You keep wondering that every time they in need, they calling you in the middle of the night, and you getting up going over to them and always running to them. And every time you help them, you find yourself in a mess. Look at somebody and say, it's a trap. It ain't nothing but a snare. All the devil has done is gotten them entrapped long enough to make them comfortable with being in their hidden cage. And now they're crying out to you to get you to lose your freedom. Y'all ain't talking to me over some friendship. God, I wish I had 10 people in here that say, I love my friends and I love my family, but I ain't going to let my family and my friends make me lose my freedom. All the hell I've been through in my life, all the days I cried, all the times I almost lost my mind, all the fasting I've done, all the seed sowing I've done. I would be a fool to let family, friend, or foe make me lose my freedom. Look at somebody and say, it's a trap. And the thing that bothered me about this method is that there was a bird who was inside of a cage but did not even realize that he was stuck inside of a cage. And not only was he stuck, but had the temerity to call other birds to him. Watch this. He was crying so that the free bird would come over to where he was, but he really didn't want to get out of the cage. Have you ever encountered some people in your life that are cry out, I need to change my life. I need to leave this place where I am. And when you go to help them get out, they never had an intention to leave in the first. God help me in this place. I feel the Holy Ghost. I wish I had somebody in here to say, Pastor, you preaching to me. Good God of glory. You talking to me today because I deal with people like that every day of my life. Every time you turn around, I really need a change in my life. They crying out but never intend to leave their cave. But they ain't going to get you caught up, so that the fowler can pull the snare. Be seated, please. Be seated. Be seated, please. Listen, the devil is the fowler. And the fowler will use people, positions, and possessions to be your snare. Should I preach or should I quit? I said that the devil is the fowler. And the fowler will use people, positions, and possessions to be your snare. Well, Pastor, what are you saying? Everything that come to you ain't sent by God. Every open door is not a door that God opened for you. Every opportunity is not a God opportunity. Oh, y'all quiet right here. But I'm going to help somebody in here today. Everything that look good don't mean that it is good. See, the thing that we got to understand is that what the devil does is, how he gets you caught, is that he tries to make you develop an attraction. And so what he'll do is he'll put a bow on a problem and call it a blessing. Yeah, he'll put a bow on it. He'll clean them up. He'll make them look real good, and he'll make it attractive to you. Because if he can make them or make it attractive, then he can get your attention. Oh, I didn't give you 2 words right there. The first one is attraction. The second one is attention. He can get your attention. If he can get your attention, then that means that's what you're going to focus on. Y'all ain't saying nothing. And we'll focus on because we'll look at the surface of it, and it'll look like an opportunity. It'll look like the best move for our life. It'll look like the best person we're supposed to let in our life. It'll look like everything that we want, because this is what we've been praying for. This is what we've been asking God to do for us, and this is what we've been searching after. Watch this. And so it looks good to us, and the idea of having this is amazing. And so we have this attraction, and then it gives, it causes us to give it our attention, and whatever we give our attention to will develop an affection. And so now we've gone from attraction to attention to affection, because whatever we have affection for, we're going to be loyal behind it. And the thing that worries me about this is that we will become loyal to something that we think it is, but it's really not. So what we've done is we've fallen in love with an idea. We've fallen in love with the idea of having it. We've fallen in love. We've fallen in love with something that's really not there. It just gives the appearance that is there. And we get caught up in appearance instead of what its authenticity is. Man, y'all quiet. You ever ride down the road and you see, what's the lottery where it's a whole bunch of millions? Thank you, Powerball. Thank you. Does that worry anybody else in here? You ever see those big signs with the Powerball, and it'll tell you like 400 million, and you'll see it, and even if you don't play, you say, you know what, I could do a whole lot with 400 million. I could do a whole lot. First thing, I'm pay my tithe. Y'all act like it. It's true. Oh, I'm going to pay my tithe. And then when they take them taxes, you ain't get as much as you thought. Lord, I'm just going to give the church a little bit. And you start seeing all of these things that you could do in your head. How many of you all have seen it, and instantaneously something comes to your mind that you would be able to do with that money? Be honest. Oh, I'll raise both of my hands, because I think a whole lot of stuff I would do. Y'all ain't talking to me. I still get up and go to work every day, but Lord knows I wouldn't get up as early. That ain't the will of God for my life. Hey, listen, y'all are trip. Watch this. This is the thing, though. We see this money and this billboard, and we think of everything that we could do with that money, right? And what we've done is, for that quick moment, we've fallen in love with an idea. When we know that it's not possible, we don't play, we haven't gone there, we wouldn't even know how to fill out a lottery ticket. It's not us, but just for that moment, we felt good about falling in love with the idea of having that money. We fall in love with the idea of what it could be. And this is what the Lord said to me. We begin to have an affection for an idea. And this is a kingdom key. If you're ready, say ready. Misplaced affection will cause us to convince ourselves that a hidden trap is an open door. Yeah. Think about it. Misplaced affection. It'll cause us to convince ourselves. We don't even need nobody else to convince us of it. We'll convince ourselves that a hidden trap is really an open door. And then we'll defend it. That if somebody challenges our idea that we're in love with, we'll cut them off because they're trying to bring us to a reality that we don't want to face. We'll have the gall and the tenacity to get upset with them because they've revealed to us what we really already know, but we just didn't want to hear it. We know it's not right. It don't smell right, don't talk right, don't look right, don't act right, but we have fallen so deep in love with the idea of what it could be that we will convince ourselves that it's right. Oh, somebody say make it plain. You knew that he was sorry when you saw him. If you sitting beside them, don't you look at them. You look straight ahead. You keep looking at me. Don't look left or right. You knew he wouldn't work a job when you met him. You know he had bad credit. And then you gonna get mad when you marry him and you can't get a house? And now you want a divorce? No, you live right there with him. And you sleep on that folded out sofa. Y'all ain't talking to me. Because you knew he didn't have his stuff together when you were head over heels about him. Oh, y'all, only thing. See, that's the thing is we connect and we fall in love with the idea of what somebody could be. Well, they ain't got their stuff together. They got bad credit. They got bad driving record. They can't get their license. They got so many driving revoke charges. Y'all ain't talking to me. And then you want them to drive you everywhere you go and open the door. No, you're going to be the driver. Yeah, get real used to that. Only thing they can get in their name is a Facebook account and a Twitter account. And you got the nerve to get, y'all ain't talking to me in here. And you got the nerve to get an attitude. They can't buy you a cookout tray for $5.89. It's my testimony. Got too personal on that one. I was feeling it. God, I felt it on that one. Did y'all feel the Holy Ghost? What is it you're mad about? You should be upset with yourself because you didn't fall in love with him. You fell in love with an idea of what he could be. You knew she couldn't cook when you dated her. Every time you go to her house was dirty, house was filthy. You didn't want to sit down. Y'all ain't talking to me. Trash was overflowing. Dishes were on the sink. Dishes in the sink and in the dishwasher. No clean utensils. No bottled water. Had to drink that faucet water. Y'all ain't talking to me in here. And you know that faucet water in Greenville tastes nasty. And then you got an attitude because you didn't marry her, and now all she want to do is warm you up Hot Pockets and Hungry Jacks. Y'all ain't talking to me. You better eat that pepperoni and cheese Hot Pocket and smile and praise God for it because you signed up for. Stop complaining about the stuff that you signed up for. Stop complaining to your mama, your friend, your baby mama. Y'all ain't saying nothing. Stop complaining to your cousin. Don't nobody want to hear it. Nudge your neighbor, say, I don't want to hear it. You signed up for it, now you got to live with it. Y'all don't believe me? My granddaddy would say the same bed you make will be the same bed you lay in. Lord, help me. You ever met somebody that you thought was too good to be true and then found out that it was? At first you could eat them up, and after 6 months you wish you had. See, y'all laughing. I'm so serious right now. Because we've all had those situations. They start out good, but what we've done is we've fallen in love with an idea because it was a trap. It was a trap. And see, in Psalm 91, it tells us that the traps aren't set by amateurs, it's set by professionals. And so you got to remember that you're dealing with a professional. You got to stop dealing with the devil like he just came around. He's been around from the beginning. He even tried to overtake heaven and overthrow God. He said he wanted to be God. That's how he got kicked out. Y'all ain't saying nothing. And that's when he left and he came down to earth. It was there when he showed up and peeped his head even as a serpent and tried to destroy the plan of man that God had given him. Y'all ain't talking to me right here. He's been around for a mighty long time. You got to stop dealing with the devil like he is some soft guy that you can just push over and he ain't gonna try you. See, the thing is, we got to stop dancing around issues and start confronting stuff in our life. And you got to start confronting devils in your life. And you got to talk to the devil like he's the devil and not like he's your baby mama and baby daddy. See, a lot of times we don't say stuff to people, our cousins, our first, second, third play cousins. Y'all ain't saying. We don't say nothing to them because we don't want to hurt their feelings. But I've gotten to a place in my life that don't dish it if you can't take it. And if you got the nerve to have a demonic spirit, then I've got the anointing to be able to deal with you. And when I speak to you, I ain't going to be nice about it. Y'all ain't talking to me. You can be my friend. You can walk away. But God called me to win souls and not win friends. And if I got a couple of friends, then I'm happy with that. But if I got to do this by myself, then for God, live, and for God I die. I'm not preaching because it's popular. I'm preaching to be productive. And there's a difference in popularity and productivity. Pastor, what are you saying here? Question is, how do I know that it's a trap? Because I've got to take the word of God and show you how it applies to every area of your life. If I can't do that, I haven't done my job well. How do I identify a trap? First question I ask, is God in it? Is God in it? I want to connect. I want to build a relationship with this person. Ain't even got to be intimate, just a friendship. But the question is God in it? I need to be able to hear the voice of God. I want to be able to leave this place and go to that place. Well, okay, but is God in it? Because see, some things come to us on its own. Some things come because the devil sent it. Some things come because God sent it. And watch this, some things come because we went to it. How many of you say, you know, Pastor, I think about some stuff. It was some stuff I went to that I should, if I had known better, I would have never gone in that direction. Yeah. And the thing about it is, if you can't get a peace, and sometimes we'll look for peace, and we'll look for everybody else to give us peace except God. This is the thing. The question is God in it? Can I hear God? Do I see him there? Is this something that I want, or is this something that God is telling me to do? Because you know what I've learned, y'all? I've learned that sometimes the hardest answer from God, it really isn't no. The hardest answer to accept from God is sometimes wait. Yeah. Oh, think about it. Let somebody say, make it plain. I go to the store and I see something that I want when I was younger. My mama said no. I said, okay, I got over it. You know, I had a little, between aisle 5 and 7, I probably had a little attitude. But by the time I got to the cookie aisle 8, I was good to go. Y'all ain't say that? As long as I give me some Oreos, some Chips Ahoy. Okay, y'all, never mind. I digress. This is the thing. And so when she said no, fine, I dealt with it. I'm over it. I'll try the next time. But you know what was hard? It was when it's Christmas time. And I see all these presents under the tree. Tears her nerves all to pieces. All these presents. And my mom, I said, Mom, can I just open one? She would say, no, son, you need to. Tear me up. 2 weeks, I'm sitting there thinking, now what is the shape of that? Then you sneak and you lift it like, now what weighs like this? Then the next day you pushing down in the center trying to figure out where it stopped. Y'all ain't saying nothing, see. Because it just bothered me to wait. Watch this. It's hard when you see something that's yours and something that you want and something you've been praying for, and it's in arm's reach of you, and you know your life would be better if you open it and get it. But then God would turn around and say to you, it's there, but I need you to wait. How do I deal with the waiting? Because God has said no about this, and I'm okay with that. If God says no, I can move on because that means he has something better. But what do I do when what he has for me is for me, and he's saying yes, but not now? Because before you get, I feel this in my spirit, before you get to your next level, you will always have a yes, but not now moment. Because before God brings you into the room of promotion, he wants to see how you act in the waiting room. He wants to see, can you praise me when you know you ain't got it yet? Will you be as loud? Who am I helping already? Will you be as loud when you ain't even got it yet? Will you be faithful even when you ain't got it yet? Will you still give me everything that you have and everything that you don't have, even though I ain't gave it to you yet? Will you still love me and be faithful to me? And will you tithe and sow? Will you labor for me? Will you give everything that you have, even though I've said yes, but not now? How do you identify a trap? Well, is God in it? Here's the second one. If you're ready, say ready. If you can't get past verse 1, then part number 1 of is God in it, then you go to the next question, and the next question is this: will God get glory out of it? Will God get glory out of it? Because sometimes we can't always hear God, and we're going to deal with that, and we're going to go home in a minute. This is it, though. We can't hear, and we say, well, God, are you in it? And sometimes the answer is not always as clear. So our next question that we have to go through, our checklist is, well, is God going to get the glory out of it? Because if God is going to get the glory from it, then that's an indication that God is in it. But you got to be very careful to not lean on number 2, because God is going to get the glory out of everything anyway. Yeah. See, God is going to get the glory because he's God. That's why he said all things work together for the good of those who love the Lord and who are called according to his purpose. That means that the stuff that he sends and the stuff that we mess up and go after, he's going to take all of that too and make it work for our good and for his glory. So how do I identify a trap? Number 1, is God in it? Number 2, is God going to get the glory out of it? Let's do the last part of verse 3 and we go home. Verse 3, and he delivers us from the noisome pestilence. The noisome pestilence. Somebody say noisome. And somebody else say pestilence. Noisome in the Hebrew comes from the word havar. And watch this. It blew me away. It blew me away because when it says noisome, and sometimes we read Psalm 91 and we just fly over these words and never really look at what it means and what the psalmist is saying to us. But he would deliver us from the stentor fowler and from the noisome pestilence. And noisome means destruction intended by the tongue. Destruction that's intended by the tongue. Pestilence in the Hebrew comes from the word debar. Somebody say debar. Some people say debar, some people say debar. But that Hebrew word, pestilence, you would think it's just something that annoys you, right? When in Hebrew, that's just not what it is. You know what it is? If you're ready, say ready. Pestilence in this verse and text, it means rat fleas that will get on your body and infect it and cause a tumor. I know you're sitting there, Pastor, what does this have to do? What does a rat flea have to do with me? Matter of fact, when I read it, I didn't even know rats had fleas. I didn't think that was possible. We're all ignorant at something. You know, don't judge me because I ain't know that now. You know, I represent people in trials, you know, but I can't tell you, you know, how to do certain stuff with a car. That ain't my gift. You know what I'm saying? We all got gifts. This is the thing. It's a rat flea that'll get on your body, infect it, and will cause tumors to form. Now, the thing that got me is this. I want y'all to understand what the psalmist is saying here, because he's using this metaphorically. And what he's saying is he's talking about the rat fleas and what it causes, but I want you to understand that word noisome, because what he's saying is the destruction that's intended by the tongue of somebody else has the power to do what the pestilence would do if the flea came off of the rat onto your body and caused an infection to develop tumors. Oh, see, y'all still quiet. If I'm preaching all right, say preach, pastor. Okay, good. This is what the Lord is saying. When we internalize what other folks say and think about us, it causes us to develop a tumor. And a tumor is something that you can't see. You can only feel it. And if it grows big enough, then it'll be able to be seen and become visible. But it has the authority and the capability to cause tumors to form on the inside of us. Well, Pastor, what are you talking about? Tumors called anxiety. Tumors called depression. Tumors called low self-esteem. Tumors called insecurity. When we internalize what's noisome, it has the potential to be the pestilence that would develop tumors and cause us to be infected and will cause our demise. Well, Pastor, how does this have to do with me? When he covers me, even if you say it about me, he does not allow it to impact me. Well, okay, if you're ready for next Kingdom Key, say ready. When people can't use their hands to touch, they will use their tongue to talk. And when the truth don't go in their favor, that's when they start telling lies. Oh, see, y'all quiet right here. But when people can't touch you, they'll talk about you. And if they don't know it, they'll make it up. And the thing about it is, it's not what people say, because we can't control what people say about us. We can't control what people think about us. We don't have that authority and that power to control everything that comes out of somebody else's mouth. But it's two things that we do have. And those two things that we have is called perception and perspective. We always have perception and we always have perspective, because the thing that you got to understand is how we perceive things will determine our behavior. I don't care what you do to me. You can make me angry, but I'm not going to let you have that much control over me. I'm not going to let you control me to the point where I lower my standard. I'm not going to let you have that much control over me where I cuss you out. I'm not going to let you have that much power over me to provoke me to fight you. Y'all ain't saying nothing to me. And I'm not going to let you have that much control over me to make me lose my sleep at night and make me lose my appetite. The devil is a lie. I'm going to sleep well. I'm going to eat well. I'm going to eat what I want. Y'all ain't talking to me. I've gotten to a place in my life where I'm tired of losing sleep over Negroes that ain't going to help me anyway. God, I wish I had 5 people. I know this is going on. I know that this is going to go on the internet, but yeah, I said it and I meant it, because I'm tired of tossing and turning and losing my sleep over people that was never supposed to be in my life in the first place. Who cares what you think about me? Because if God is for me, who in the world can be against me? Oh my God, I've got enough perception to believe I love me even when you don't love me. I loved me before I got here today. Y'all ain't talking to me. If you love on me, I will appreciate that, but I still love me even if you don't love. I like the way I looked before I got here. This is the thing. We always have our own perceptions, how you perceive yourself. You got to stop giving people that much power over you. You want to dress and wear what you want to wear, as long as it's, you covered and in order. Don't matter if it don't match. All you need is a little confidence. You better walk out there with your unmatched self and be just as confident. Y'all ain't saying nothing to me. You want to shave your head and leave just a little tip. All you need is a little confidence. You better learn to love yourself, everything about you. Somebody need to practice right now. You need to tell yourself, I am beautiful. Thing that you got to understand. See, this is the thing that we always like to use beautiful, the word beautiful for women. But don't you know men can be beautiful? Well, Pastor, what are you saying? We always think of the word beautiful, and the first definition of beautiful is to be aesthetically pleasing to the eye or to the senses. But there's a second definition. The second definition says to have a high standard of excellence. Y'all ain't talking to me in here. Now, somebody need to say, I'm beautiful. I got that type of standard. That's why I ain't married yet. That's why I ain't got no boo, because I got that type of standard. Y'all ain't saying to me, that's why I ain't moved yet, because I got that type of standard. Beauty is in the eye of the beholder. You've got to have that type of perception about yourself. But not only do you have perception, you got to also have perspective. Everybody say perspective. This is the thing. You have the power to let what people say become mountains or give you momentum. Now, see, what they say is how you handle it. Because he says, I will cover you from the noisome pestilence. I'll cover you from what the tongue is trying to destroy you with, to cause these tumors to make you feel bad about yourself and who you are and how I made you. I'm going to cover you from all of that, because they know they can't change who you are. And if they can't change who you are, then the devil's job and his goal is to try to make you see how you see yourself. See, he don't have to change your beauty. All he has to do is make you think you're ugly. He don't have to change the fact that you're chosen. All he has to do is convince you that you've been forsaken. Because see, it's all about your perspective. It's all about how you see things. Because if you think that it's a mountain, then it'll be a mountain. But you can take the same thing that people sent to you to hurt you and cause it to give you momentum. The enemy doesn't have to be right. It just has to be loud. I'm trying to close this thing. Is it helping anybody here today? The enemy doesn't have to be right. He just got to be loud. And what you listen to will become what you eventually believe. If he's in your ear loud enough yelling that you're ugly, you're going to start to think that you're ugly. Every time you look in the mirror, you're going to find something wrong with your face and your body. You ain't saying, you got to learn to love everything about yourself, all the flaws and all. God made it. Y'all ain't saying nothing to me. And the thing about the enemy is he doesn't have to jump up and down and say, hey, believe me, over here, just believe me. He ain't got to do that. All he has to do is be loud enough and you will convince yourself. If he's loud enough, you'll convince yourself that you got issues. If he's loud enough, you'll convince yourself that you'll never be delivered. If he's loud enough, that he'll make you think that you've lost everything, even though Jesus has already given you the victory. If he's loud enough, he'll make you think and forget that Jesus is not mighty and strong like we know him to be. He ain't got to be right, y'all. He just got to be loud. And this is the thing that worries me. The thing that worries me is not about what he's saying to us. But what worries me is what I'm missing when God speaks. What he's saying is not as dangerous as what I'm missing from God. Because if he's in my ear over here, that's really not the dangerous part. What worries me is if he's in my ear and I'm so in tune to him, then that means that I'm missing something that God is trying to tell me over here. What do I do when I've got all these voices, but I'm trying to hear God? See, when you stay in the secret place, then your ears are so in tune to who God is and his voice that you can be in a room filled with people and still hear God. I don't care where we are in any type of facility, building. I don't care if we're in worship. When my wife speaks, I can hear her voice. I don't care if we're at the fair. If my mama called my name, I know my mama's voice. because I'm so in tune. We've got to become so in tune with him that it don't matter what boo-boo, baby, day-day, and everybody else say. It don't matter what the devil is trying to whisper in your ear. It doesn't matter how loud the enemy is in your ear telling you this and telling you you're that and telling you that you're not this and you're not that. It doesn't matter what the enemy thinks or what the enemy tells you. It's about you hearing God so good that you can be in a crowded room and still know his voice. I mean, say, Pastor, I want to be that in tune with God. I want to be that in tune with him. Let's not be long. Let's finish this. Verse 5. Verse 5, thou shalt not be afraid of the terror by night, nor of the arrow that flieth by day. Verse 6, nor of the pestilence that walketh in darkness, nor the destruction that lay waste at noonday. Verse 7, 1,000 shall fall at thy side, and 10,000 at thy right hand, but it shall not come nigh thee. Verse 8, watch this. Only with your eyes, only with thine eyes shall thou behold and see the reward of the wicked. Only with your eyes. Can I tell y'all a few things that God told me and we're going home? The first thing is this. It says, only with your eyes you should see the reward of the wicked. If God positions you to see them, then that means he also positions them to see you. See, don't pray all of your haters away, because your haters are necessary. See, some of us are so busy praying, Lord, get rid of my enemy. No, I've said, Lord, you ain't got to get rid of them, but just put me in a place where they can see me but can't touch me. Y'all ain't talking. I ain't going to pray them away, because I know that in the presence of my enemies, you prepare a table, and I want to eat well. So I ain't going to pray all my enemies away. Just let them be close enough to see me, but too far so they can't touch me. Because it says that only with my eyes will I look and see the reward of the wicked. And the thing that you got to understand is that sometimes we praise God and say, God, thank you. I got so messed up, and I was so involved with these people, but you delivered me, and thank you for the blessing, and thank you for blessing me, and that's real good. But don't you know that sometimes God won't just bless you in spite of people. Sometimes God will bless you because of people. Oh, y'all just miss that. See, that's for everybody that's dealing with some drama in your life now. You're dealing with people that's hating on you, people that can't celebrate you. They've watched you struggle, and now you finally going into your season, and they got the nerve to say that you didn't change. You right. I did change. Everything about me changed because I've suffered for so long, but this is my season of success. The thing that you got to understand is that not only will God bless you in spite of folk, but God will bless you because of it. And when God blesses you because of it, you'll begin to shift your praise. And then your praise won't be, God, thank you for bringing me out. Your praise will be, God, thank you for everything that they did. Because if they had never opened their mouth, y'all ain't saying, if they had never tried to hurt me, you would not have moved on my behalf like you did. So, God, thank you for every lie that they said. Thank you for everything they tried. God, who am I helping in here? Thank you for everything that tried to take me out. Thank you for every fowler that set a snare in my life. Because after they set the snare, you showed up. And when God shows up, he shows out. And when God shows out, he shows off. Have I got anybody in this place? God, I feel the Holy Ghost sitting here that can say, thank you for my haters. Thank you for everybody that tried to take me out. Thank you for everybody that tried to talk about me. Thank you for everything that I've gone through, because only with my eyes shall I look and see the reward of the wicked. See, your haters will affirm your next level. God, I don't know who that was for, but your haters will affirm your next level. You starting to wonder why you going through so much. Get ready for your next level. The more hell you go through, go ahead and start packing your bags, because God is about to take you to a place that you didn't even expect to go, because the devil would not be on you so hard if God didn't have a plan and a purpose for your life. God, I wish I had 50 women that don't mind messing up their makeup in here to throw your head back, throw your hands up and say, I receive that word, because at the end of the day, as long as God bless me, come hell or high water, God, long as you bless my life, as long as you give me my desire, as long as you bless my family. Oh my God, see, some of y'all need to start practicing right now. Some of y'all need to practice right now what you gonna say when you leave the church today and you go back home and go to your job and see all of the haters. Have I got anybody say, Pastor, I'm ready to practice? I got 4 words for you. Look at your neighbor and say, neighbor, I got 4 words. Go ahead and practice right now. Go ahead and practice right now. Look at him them and say, look at me now. Yeah, that's the only thing you got to tell your head. You ain't got to explain nothing. You ain't got to tell them how it happened. You ain't got to tell them what God did for you. All you got to do is say, look at me. I know you thought I was crazy. I know you thought I was going to lose my mind. But look at me now. Look at how God has blessed me. Look at the anointing on my life. Look at how God has placed his hand on me. You can't touch what God has anointed. You thought you hurt me, but you have. Somebody say, look at me now. Come on, look at me and say, look at me now. I ain't always looked this good. But if you think I look good now, wait until God gets done with me. Wait until God bless my life. Wait until God's hand is revealed on my life. Look at him and say, you ain't seen nothing yet. Now hold your hand up and lay hands on yourself and say, I ain't seen nothing yet. That God is about to blow my mind. God, I wish I had somebody in here that could say, Pastor, I received that word today. I said, I received that word. I said, I received that word. Oh, I'm so glad that I serve a God that is mighty and strong. Somebody say, he's mighty and he's strong. God, I feel my help now. I said, he's mighty and he's strong. I want to go higher. Have I got anybody that can say he's mighty and he's strong? Now throw your head back and say, ah. He's mighty, he's mighty. I said he's mighty, mighty, mighty. Somebody see it. See it. Yeah. I feel the Holy Ghost. Look at somebody say, look at me now. That's the only line I got. And when they ask me how, come on, tell your neighbor, and when they ask me how, I got 3 more words. Because 4 plus 3 equals 7. And 7 is the number of completion. So if I tell you, look at me now, I got 3 more words. If they ask you how they did it, come on, if they ask you how did it happen, tell them, say, I got 3 words. Nobody but God. I said nobody. Whoa, 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 whoa. I said nobody but God. I said nobody but God. Somebody shout nobody but God. Oh, I said nobody. Whoa, 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 whoa. I said nobody, nobody, nobody. Somebody say nobody but God. He's the same God that stood outside of time and created it. The same God that stepped inside of time and redeemed it. And then the same one that stepped back out and watches over it. Somebody say nobody but God. I said it was nobody but God. They walked out on me, but I had God. They talked about me, but nobody but God. Somebody say nobody but God. Nobody but God. How did I get into law school at the last minute? Nobody but God. How did I come out of a place that they tried to kill me? Nobody but God. How did I keep my right mind when I wanted to cry? Nobody but God. Somebody say nobody. Look at what I say. Great and mighty is our God. Come on, great and mighty is our God. Come on, say it like it. Great and mighty is our God. Great and mighty. Don't say it like you mean it. Great and mighty is our God. Great and mighty is our God. Great and mighty is our God. Come on, say it until it hit your spirit. Great and mighty is our God. I said great and mighty. Speak it over your situation. I don't care what your situation is saying to you today. You go ahead and decree great and mighty is my God. Come on, talk to your situation right where you are. Come on, decree it over your marriage. Decree it over your finances. Decree it over what you need from God today. Look at him and say, great and mighty. Great and mighty, great and mighty is my God. Come on, great and mighty. Say it like you mean it. Great and mighty.
Great and mighty is our God. Great and mighty is our God.
Come on, decree it. Come on, say great and mighty.
Great and mighty is our God. Great and mighty is our God. Great and mighty is our God. Great and mighty is our God.
Come on, I need you to speak it over your situation. That's all you gotta say.
Great and mighty.
That's all you gotta say. It's just say great and mighty.
Great and mighty.
All over this place, can we just say great and mighty?
Our God. Great and mighty.
Hallelujah. Come on, I need you to decree it over your life today. Come on, decree it over your life. Great and mighty
is our God.
Great and mighty, great and mighty, great and mighty.
How mighty is our God. Every generation will cry. How mighty is our God. Great and mighty is our God. Great and mighty is our God. Great and mighty.
Come on, that simple song. Can everybody sing that? Come on, say
great and mighty is our God.
Come on, I need every believer to decree it over your life today. Come on, say great and mighty.
Great and mighty is our God. Great and mighty is our God.
Can you help us say
Great and mighty is our God. Great and mighty is our God.
Listen, if you don't know the Lord today, if you say, you know what, I don't know him for myself, but I want to make that decision today.